Welcome to the Weekend Warriors Fishing Podcast, presented by 13 Fishing Canada. Make your own luck. We're here to scratch that angling itch and talk everything fishing. Join us as we sit down with special guests from across the industry. Now, here's your hosts, Logan Lewis
and Jesse Cadron.
Episode 103. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I am your host, Logan Lewis, and riding solo today. Jesse doesn't get home until the 12th or the 13th of October, I believe, from his moose guiding stint. So definitely looking forward to having him back, but we have an episode that you're not going to want to miss today. We've got Winston Stockdale coming on. Some of you may have heard him on the Casting Deck podcast, maybe on the radio lately. He's had a pretty crazy summer as far as tournament fishing goes. Anyone who's in the tournament scene around here, whether you're Saskatchewan, Alberta, or Manitoba, I'm sure you're already familiar with who he is. But for anyone who is not, you're definitely going to enjoy this episode. Awesome guy to talk to, tons of knowledge, and he placed first in arguably the three biggest tournaments in Saskatchewan this summer. So it's definitely an episode you're not going to want to miss. Before we hop in to the episode, though, as always, I want to thank the sponsors of the show. First off, behind my shoulder here, if you're watching the video on YouTube or Spotify, is 13 Fishing being the presenting sponsor of the show. Huge thanks to them, as always. They've been here since the start and couldn't be more thankful for that. You can head over to the Rapala Canada website, shop all the brands that are under the Rapala Canada family, and save 15% off with the code Weekend Warriors. Once again, that's Weekend Warriors, WKND Warriors. We'll probably talk about my Duck Mountain trip and whatnot once Jesse gets back, but all I can say is the 13 products and the Rapala products definitely helped put that trip together as far as getting some fish in the boat, and definitely enjoyed that. Some jigging wraps, some jerk baits, and Crush City was essential as well. So big thanks to them for being the presenting sponsor of the show. Next up, as always as well, we've got the Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation. Quick note from them. I did learn that for anyone who is trying to enter their Master Angler fish on Android, they are currently having issues with the Master Angler program, so you can go onto a computer and log your catches that way, or if you've got a friend with an iPhone, you can do it that way as well. But they're working to fix that issue. But aside from that, big thanks to them for being a sponsor of the show for as long as they have. Support lots of great initiatives throughout the province, access to lakes, stocking of fish, access to land, great magazine, all stuff that comes with your membership, which you can find online and figure out where your local branch is and get your membership today. That's all I got for the intro in this episode. Short and sweet with Jesse not being here. Want to give a huge thanks to Winston for coming on. Pretty sweet getting to sit down and finally do an episode here. I've talked to him on the water a little bit as we get into the episode there. We mentioned that. But yeah, big thanks for coming on. You're definitely not going to want to miss this one. Sitting down here, episode 103 with Winston Stockdale. Anyone who's familiar with the tournament scene in Saskatchewan already knows who this guy is, or anyone who listens to the Casting Deck podcast. I think you've been on there. Is it twice now?
Yeah, twice, yeah.
Yeah. Did I say that wrong?
No, that was all perfect, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. No,
that was all good.
I was like, that sounded weird. Yeah, so twice on there, so you're familiar enough with this, but for anyone who is not sure who you are, give a nice introduction for yourself. We'll get into some of what's gone on this summer right away here, but nice introduction for yourself and I guess how you got into fishing.
Okay, thank you for having me on, Logan. This is awesome. At the heart of it, I'm just a young kid from Saskatchewan who loves to fish. But more than that, like the last couple of years, I've just fallen in love with the sport. I started off 4 or 5 years old fishing off a dock on Last Mountain Lake, just catching pike in the bays and just learning the lake and having fun. And then from there, it kind of grew. When I was 12, my parents bought me a little tin boat with an 8-horse motor, and I'd go out on the mountain, no phone, just a little fish finder all by myself in the lake, wearing a nice big bright life jacket so my parents could see me from the cabin, and I'd go out and catch walleye. And that was just where it started, of course. And then from there, when I was 11, actually, I got really blessed. A friend of mine, Travis Taylor from Regina, took me in my first tournament called the Anglo Young Angler. the tournaments no longer go on, but it was a tournament where you had 2 kids and 1 adult, and it took place in Fort Capel. Pokies would kind of help run it, and it was put on by like kind of Lund too. They'd give a boat
Okay.
away, and so that was my first ever tournament, and that instantly got me hooked when I was 11. So I fished that, and then kind of started moving on. And when I was 14 or 15, or sorry, maybe 13, I got a 20 horse motor with a 14-foot or 16-foot Lumacraft. Started fishing around the lake more, getting more confidence. And then when I was 14, finally decided I want to do my first tournament, and that's kind of where the addiction really went crazy. Fished Regina Beach Walleye Tournament in the spring of 2020, I think it was, and I got my butt absolutely whooped as anybody would in their first tournament normally, but
Hmm.
that's kind of where things really kicked off. And then from there, it's just been learning how to get better at fishing, learn about tournaments, and then just becoming friends with all these guys. I've just had so much fun meeting people in Saskatchewan, fishing tournaments, and like obviously I love competing, but like right there beside the fishing tournament is just like I have so much fun talking to my competitors and
Hmm.
talking about fishing and just having fun on the water.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we ran into each other a couple years ago. I think it was in my old boat at the time out at Last Mountain at Fox's there. And yeah, like you
Yeah,
say, I think we
yeah,
talked for like 2 hours as we both just slammed walleye right there. And yeah, it's always nice talking to people on the water, and you being a local there too. Obviously, I'm sure you know way more people out there and whatever. It's also a great way to learn the lake is by knowing more people out there too. But yeah, no, that sounds like pretty well lots of. I mean, that was very similar to me growing up fishing. You start off the dock casting for hours, right? And then yeah, you get your little tinner, and that's where we part ways, because then you went into tournaments doing very well, and I've just kind of I've dabbled in some tournaments and had fun with them, but yeah, nothing like we'll be getting into here. But I guess one good thing that might maybe something we should do before getting into the tournament, so people that don't tournament fish kind of understand. I think most people, when they think tournament fishing that aren't tournament fishermen, they just think biggest fish, right? Lots of the time.
yeah,
So maybe I know the Premier's Walleye Cup was a bit different this year, right?
yeah, yeah. Premiers is
Okay.
a bit different. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk about how
Um,
the premiers was and then the other ones, or?
I think maybe go with how they typically are, and then can
Okay.
explain, I guess, how Premier's was different, and then we can kind of get into some of that, just so people who don't tournament fish kind of understand that you're not just going out there just to catch. Well, you do want to catch the biggest fish still. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You still want
Yeah.
that, but it takes some more strategy. So maybe yeah, touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So in Saskatchewan, the provincial limit for one angler is one walleye over 21 and a half inches and three under. So then our tournaments, they fall under that rule. So you have 2 anglers in a boat. And with that rule of one over 3 slots, the way we structure our tournaments in Saskatchewan is we have two over 21 and a half and three under. So in all these tournaments, you're fishing for your 2 biggest fish you could possibly catch, as Logan kind of mentioned, the really big ones. But then to also have success, you have to have those three that are just under at like 21 and a quarter, 21 inches, and that kind of equates to a really good tournament day. Is
Yeah.
having those good slot fish and also the overs.
Yeah, so you got to kind of strategize with that. I guess as far as like some of the tournaments, what I've heard lots of the time, like say a Last Mountain, such a great fishery, the issue is slots lots of the time, right? It's
Yeah.
it's not necessarily finding
Oh yeah.
your respectable overs, it's the slots. So then you gotta switch gears. I'm not just big fish hunting right now. Now I got to go find those slots, right?
Yeah. No, that was definitely like a big thing. Like at some tournaments, you'll have 2 different teams. One team will have 2 8-pounders and a 10-pound slot bag. They have 26 pounds, and then you have another team with 2 10-pounders, and their slot bag's only 3 pounds. And so somehow, even though they had 2 10-pounders, they're actually losing to you.
Hmm.
So it's definitely you have to have both patterns, and it's definitely a huge strategy to it that you have to learn
Yeah, for sure. And then I
because
guess when it
those fish aren't on the same program.
right, yeah, same
Yeah,
not same program, some lots of times different location too, as far as
yeah,
what you're focusing on. So and then I guess going to the Premier's Cup, I guess kind of explain how that one worked as well.
yeah. So the premiers used to be kind of the same format. They would do one over and 4 slots, but this sadly, like some of the tournaments, obviously now we're seeing it across North America, kind of becoming less popular. It's having trouble filling up tournaments. So the premiers this year, instead of doing one over 4 slots to try kind of grow the back the tournament, which they did a great job, and I think next year it's going to fill back up. They implemented 5 overs on a fish app. So you take pictures of your fish on MyCatch, and it'd be your 5 biggest a day, and you could upgrade throughout the day. So it took away all the slots, and you didn't put fish in your live well, and it was just five biggest a day on a photo app.
Hmm. And I mean, I think that's a pretty sweet idea. Obviously, tradition wise, the weigh-ins are fun. That adds a different aspect to it. But as far as, I guess, fish health and whatnot, a quick pick on the bump board back into the water, and then there's a weight conversion based on the length, right? If you did want to kind
Yeah.
of do the estimate on the weight. So I mean, that is interesting as far as keeping the fishery healthy and stuff like that. Obviously, I know part of the issue that some guys take with it is the potential for, or more potential for, some cheating in the end. But I mean, that there's ways when we talked to Jim Shute, when we had him on, I think it was like 2 years ago, he's like, there's always going to be ways to cheat. It's just that no matter what the tournament is, right? So you gotta, you got to be sportsmanship with it, everything like that. There's always going to be that issue. But I think this is a pretty sweet idea to have, especially because you can do it in areas with no service too. Like things will load back in. And it's still something that's somewhat newer too. So there's obviously still a chance for things to grow and improve there. But yeah, just a little bit different format. And what was your average? Was something ridiculous for the tournament, right?
Yeah, we weighed 10 for 98.40 or something. So I think our average fish was 9.8 pounds, and that was like that equated to like 29 and 3/4.
Okay.
So because a 30 incher was 10 pounds there, a 29 was 9, a 28 was 8. So yeah, our
Okay.
average fish was like a hair under 30, which is pretty incredible.
And did you
So
find that conversion was accurate enough? Obviously, there's outliers with fish. Like when I was pre-fishing with a buddy for the Fall Classic, caught a 29 that was 6 pounds. Like that's
yeah,
that's obviously an
yeah.
outlier, right?
No, yeah, we were talking about this a lot, and like at some lakes, it's definitely they're not as heavy. Like a 29 is only 7 or 8 pounds normally, but it was funny actually. Like I think Tobin probably is the healthiest fish anywhere I've ever fished, and like out there, I actually think it's too light. Most places
Okay.
it's always too heavy, but like usually a 30 incher in most lakes is only 7 or 8 or 9 pounds. Normally, like on the mountain, let's say it's probably an 8 or 9 pounder, but a lot of the fish at Tobin were 10, 11, 12 pounds, which is really incredible.
Hmm.
But yeah, by no means out there the scale is very accurate. We would have been right around 100 pounds on a scale, so I was really impressed by that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, the fish there. I mean, you just look at years past and the bags that were winning those tournaments. I think they were still around 60 pounds, were they not?
Yeah, yeah, no, huge fish out there. Like even this year at the Vanity, our two overs day two, we had a 28 and a 30, and they weighed a combined almost 21 pounds. So we had an 11 and a 10,
Yeah.
and one of those fish was only 28 incher.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
they're out
that's
there. They're just so fat.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, that's good to know because yeah, 'cause some people look at the conversions too, and it's like, well, are these like some like you said, it's lake by lake, it's fish by fish. But if that's what you're kind of seeing out there, and obviously I didn't realize how dialed in lots of tournament guys were with checking the weights of their fish and everything like that, even during a pre-fish or whatever. Because any tournament I fished, I don't pre-fish it. I just don't have time. You get there kind of and go and have a day, but it's yeah, getting to know kind of what you're looking at for fish. And so then that goes into your planning, right? As far as what the game plan is for the tournament. Obviously, every day is different for fishing. You maybe found a pattern that worked all pre-fish, and that can change. Just like was it the Fall Classic? There was was it temperature or fog or
Yeah,
something like that?
both temperature, and then it also had like 70K winds the day before the tournament, so it kind of flipped the lake too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So that
that was
changes everything.
the weights reflected it. Yeah, the weights reflected it. Those were the lowest weights we've had like ever, just in the
Hmm.
last like 5 years, because the weather was so bad. Otherwise, if the weather would have held, it would have been 62 pounds to win Owens this year probably.
Right.
But the weight,
Okay.
obviously, only two teams had over 50, just because the lake got cold and it blew so bad,
Right.
right?
No, that's
But that's
that's
fishing, yeah.
fair. Yeah, and we'll get into the tournaments here right away. I've said that a couple times now, but I did want to say I know when I've seen some of the other stuff from years previous, you were fishing the tournaments with your dad, right? Because you needed someone that was considered over the age.
Yeah, so I started fishing tournaments like I said I was 14. Fished tournaments with my dad the last 4 summers, and like awesome. Like I won a tournament with my dad, cashed a bunch of checks. I did fish with my dad this year, but my brother's gotten really into it too. And like my dad doesn't really have the time to get off work to pre-fish all these days. And obviously he loves it too, but it's really nice because my brother and I, we have the time to go fish, stay in a tent. So it worked out really well this year. I had to fish with my brother, but I definitely see myself fishing with my dad and brother in the future. I love
Right.
just fishing with family members. It's awesome.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
Will's pretty dialed, so I can't complain about fishing with him.
No, that's good. Did he end up getting his own live scope?
No, I gotta buy him one.
I guess you can work on that now, seeing how the summer went. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I remember hearing that. I think it was on the Casting Deck podcast there that he was wanting to
yeah,
save up for his own. So no, that's good. It's nice like when you can tag team fish off one live scope, but when you can both have them going, it's just that much more efficient too. So it
yeah,
works out well that way. And when he knows what he's doing with it, that's the other big thing. Could could go on to so many different tangents with it, but lots of people don't know how to use it, even though they have it, right? And so
yeah,
that kind of takes away from it. But yeah, no, that's awesome getting to fish with them. I remember I think I fished the Pro-Am the same year that Will must have.
yeah,
2 years
yeah.
ago,
We sat
maybe.
beside you at Rowan's. Yeah, yeah. We were at Rowan's together. It was so windy that day. Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was an interesting day for sure. And you guys bombed all the way up the lake, didn't you?
yeah. We made some runs, but we caught all of our fish right at Rowan's anyway. It was useless, but
Oh,
whatever.
okay. Yeah, we got our biggest.
Yeah,
I caught our biggest rate at Rowan's Point as well. Right before
yeah,
coming in, so
yeah,
it's like we were all the way down by Two Tree and stuff. I'm like, we were just bombing back, and the waves were so big that it actually disconnected some of their electrical connections, and so we lost
yeah.
grass and lost live scope and stuff. It just wasn't great, but yeah. No, anyways, off the sidetrack there, onto the tournaments from
That's
this year.
okay.
I guess, mate. Yeah, we'll go in order. Obviously, that makes sense here. So the first one was premiers, correct?
Yeah, yeah. First one was premiers. Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
did you guys camp out when you go up to Tobin?
Yeah, all the summer tournaments we stay. I sleep in the car, and my brother sleeps in the tent, and we rent a big campsite, and then we plug the boat in. We just roll in and out in the mornings. It's really nice,
Yeah. No, that works good.
except
And
for when it
on
rains. Yeah,
yeah, and on a budget too. Like everything adds up so quick for the tournaments, right? And you're up there, even just the food to be up there for however many days and whatever, right? And if accommodations, you get a hotel and whatever. It all adds up. So obviously that's a good way to do that. And yeah, that one, I know you've talked about these on other shows, so we don't have to get too in detail there, but whatever you want to share with it, like how, like, was it a 1 or 2 day?
it was. So premiers was a 2-day event. We launched out of the river in Nipawin right at the main bridge there. Same launch as the Vanity, and
Yeah.
then the boundary was the Tobin Lake Resort. So they extended it this year. So the boundary for Vanity and premiers are the same. So it's nice because then you can fish to your strengths. You can fish the river, or you can fish the lake. So we opted to fish the lake. And I guess I could share a couple simple details. We fished the lake. We caught most of our fish in a drop shot or a jig, kind of basic walleye stuff. We fished some plastics and jig wraps too, but fished the lake. And yeah, it was day one. We did really good, but it was so windy. I think we weighed 47 pounds. And then day two, our best spot, just like loaded up overnight with the right wind angle. And we ended up weighing 51 pounds day two, anchored by a 31 and a 32, which was just nuts.
Wow. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
goes to show how
crazy.
great that fishery is. And it's good to see those numbers coming back up because I know people were kind of talking the last couple of years how weights seem to be down in some of the tournaments. So no, that's good. And did I hear you say somewhere that you just had Will on the big motor on that windy day?
Yeah, like when it got so windy, like it's almost impossible to drive a trolling motor into that. Yet alone, we have minor trolling motor issues. Like our trolling motor is not mounted the very best into the front of the boat.
Mm.
So he would kind of drive the big motor, and then I'd live scope off the front, he was so super helpful as my teammate to help do that. That was a really big blessing.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing in these tournaments. It's not necessarily like you gotta, it's a team game and you gotta work on that stuff too. And I know the way the wind can blow into there, like our second day of the Vanity coming back, it was insane. Like just, we were skipping on top of them because we were ripping back, but it was like these waves, the way it can blow into there when it comes right from the lake was pretty insane. So I kind
Yeah, that
of
lake
know
can get
the
scary.
struggle there. Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, that's fair. And with that one, how many people were in that tournament?
I think it filled up to about 80 boats this year.
Okay.
So yeah, up
That's
from
good,
last
especially
year.
for a
Yeah,
new
so 80
format.
boats. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it'll be getting more people in the future because like it's awesome that you can just target your five big ones. You don't have to deal with live well issues, and you don't have to make that big run back. Because back in the day, you can only have 3 fish in your live well, so you'd have to
Mm,
catch 3, go way 2 in back at the bridge, and then run back out to your spot and catch your last 2 or 3. So
right.
it's the Premier's really, yeah, the Premier's turned an awesome corner. They're doing so many good things now.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
with what else did I have? Anything else for that one? I don't know if I had too much more to touch on that tournament, but that's kind of just what got the snowball started. Obviously, then
Yeah.
we get to the Last Mountain Fall Walleye Classic, huge tournament around here. People come from all over. Um, I, definitely Alberta, Manitoba, but I think there's some states guys there too, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and that's a big tournament. What's the prize structure for that one?
So the prize structure for that one is 50 grand for first, 25 for second, and then I think it's like 11 or 12 for third, and then fourth is like still 9 grand, which is pretty unreal for fourth place around here.
Hmm.
So it pays amazing. And then they have day weight each day, so the top 5 weights each day get a check for like 2 or 3 or 4 grand.
Right.
And then big fish each day is 8,000. So it just pays amazing.
Yeah, and the nice did it. I don't. How did it work out this year with big fish? I don't think. How did that work? Was there like lots of times? Obviously, the person who wins it usually ends up with one of the big fish days, from
Yeah.
what I've seen. But that wasn't the case this year, was it?
I think Big Fish day one was the guy who won Big Fish, Ryan Hayer. He had a 1266 day one, and then he ended up
Oh,
winning
okay.
Big Fish trophy. Yeah, and then day two there was like a 12 pounder too. Just crazy how many big ones there were. It was actually nuts.
Yeah, no, and it's fun
Yeah,
watching. Doug puts on a really good tournament there. Being able to watch it live, I know I was watching it or listening to it,
yeah,
I guess, and kind of seeing what was going on there, and then even being able to follow along on the website too to see all that. Because usually
yeah,
you're waiting for a Facebook post of a piece of paper that's not even in order, and you gotta try and figure out who placed where, right? So
yeah. The trail does an unreal job of having all the weights up for all 4 trail tournaments. Like that's one thing you have to applaud the Walleye Trail with having those. You can just search it up like Sask Walleye Trail results. You go to the Web Pro tournament page, and then you just go on there, and it shows live results. Like you weigh in, and you can see the weight within 20 seconds, which is amazing. So like you can
mhm.
follow your family and friends, and like it's amazing because all the other tournaments you have to wait 3 hours or 5 hours to find out. Like you don't even know, right?
Right.
We're kind of spoiled now to have that system. It's so good.
Yeah, and so that one worked out too. I guess we'll backtrack a bit to day one. Where were you sitting day one? Was you were in the teens, weren't you?
Yeah, so day one, I think at lunchtime we had 16 pounds, which for anybody that knows Last Mountain, that is not good. We had 3 pretty good slots and we had like 2 4 pounders. And then we made a run to kind of a backup area I had like pretty far away. Caught 2 8 pounders in the last 2 hours, made the run back into the wind, like a 20-mile run into the wind, big 3 or 4 footers. And I think after day one, we had 23.92 for 10th place.
Okay, 10th. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, and we
so
were 4.5 pounds back of the lead, which is quite a bit out there.
yeah, I mean that's a lot to make up if the people the first day put together 2 good days, right? So
Yeah.
no, that's pretty sweet. But then it worked out that you guys end up weighing last and second last, like the two teams that were close, or how'd
We
that work?
weighed, I think, 10th last, and then the Pattersons, who got second, weighed in. They were the very last boat of the tournament.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of crazy doing that weigh in at the end. Yeah, that was super stressful.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. Kind of waiting to see what comes in because for anyone who hasn't fished, I'm like you don't know what like you don't want to get too excited because you're like you don't know what kind of day other people are having, right? Or you don't want to get too down because you might be thinking, oh, I'm only sitting at like my bag's only like 12 pounds right now or something, say like that. But everyone else could be having a pretty tough day too. There'd be a handful of people, it seems like always, whether if the whole field's having trouble, there's usually a handful of teams that are still putting something together a little bit. But yeah, definitely just watching the results a lot. It's like you don't want to get too down on yourself because things can be tough for everyone. Just like you said with the winds and the lake turning over and everything, right?
Yeah.
You never truly know, but you're coming in blind. Other like to the tent, right? And kind of okay, where are we going to be sitting in the pack here as far as how today went? So that would be a nerve wracking, especially having to wait for 9 more boats when you know you were sitting in first, right?
Yeah. No, it was crazy. And like, even like you talked about, like, day one was so bad. Like, 24 pounds in Last Mountains, like, usually a terrible weight. Not terrible, but you're not going to be anywhere near winning. So when we came in day one, we were so dejected. Like, we lost our chance to win. We messed it up. Like, it's so sad, you know? Because, like, you wait all year to have a chance at winning, and then to kind of screw it up, we were pretty bummed out. And then it was such a tough day, like you said, that we were actually in contention. And then day two, we went out and everything was kind of just meant to be. It's just one of those days where it fell into place, and like
Hmm.
caught a 9 pounder instantly in the morning. Then we caught three slots over 3 pounds, and then we caught a 10.5 at lunch. Went and weighed it in, went back out, caught another 10 pounder, called our 9 pounder, which is crazy. Like people, a 9 pounder is a really heavy fish when you actually start weighing big walleye. So we
Hmm.
called a 9 pounder, and then late in the day we even caught another big slot. So we ended up having two tens and a 10 pound slot bag, and we had like 30.5 pounds.
Yeah, which
And
is
we came from behind. Coming from 10th to win is like pretty unheard of in tournaments actually. So it's pretty amazing.
yeah, it's a lot of ground to make up. But yeah, you
Yeah.
never know how everyone else is doing. So it's as you kind of want to just go to the wire. Obviously, going into weigh 1 year fish. I mean, now that's what it is, right? Like you can't upgrade that one or anything. It's going to be what it's going to be, right? So
Yeah, it's hard to upgrade a 32 incher, so we just took
yeah,
her in.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, that's
Yeah.
like, okay, get this
Yeah.
fish out of here. Don't have to worry about taking care of it or anything like that. And yeah, can
Yeah.
focus on the other fish there. No, that's good. And that does bring something that I was going to say, but I'll save it till after the vanity here. So that was just last weekend.
Yep.
I don't know. I haven't recorded the intro or outro yet for the episode, so I don't even know if I've talked about Duck Mountain. But I was gone, out of service. Did get to see. I think we found a hill with like 1 bar LTE, so I did get to load the day one results. And you were in second after day one, right?
We were in second, but like we were basically in a 10-way tie for second because 10 teams had 27 pounds.
Oh, okay.
But we were in second. Yeah, we were in second, but like by a hair.
Yeah. Oh,
So yeah.
that's good. And
But
it
yeah.
was funny.
Yeah.
There was a trip. Four of us were on this trip, and we were like, "There's no service, nothing. You're just hanging out, talking." And I think I saw it at like 1 a.m. or something. When we found the service, but we were talking before over supper, and one of my buddies, he's like, if he wins this again, I don't even know what to say. Like, I just suck at fishing. Like, he's like, and so I got it to load on my phone. It was like the first thing that came up on Facebook. I was like, yeah, so and so, you suck at fishing. He's sitting in second right now. So he's like mad. He's like, that's just ridiculous. He's like, I can't believe it. And he was just like, it was saying it was impressive, but he was like, he's like, I don't even know how that's happening. But yeah, that was,
I don't know either. I don't know either. Just crazy.
yeah.
Crazy.
And then so day two comes in, and kind of what was the script on that one?
Yeah, so like I'll just go back a little bit. Like day one of Vanity, like we pre-fished, we were catching overs and slots, but like I didn't think we could catch even 27 pounds to be honest. Like I just didn't have a lot of confidence. Like the last two tournaments I had a lot of confidence I could definitely compete. And like the Vanity has been tough. I did it one time and it's cold, it's tough. The fish kind of move out there. And day one kind of materialized and I was like, okay, awesome. But I felt like we were on a dwindling pattern. Like all of our fish seemed to be kind of our bites got worse, our spots were kind of emptying out. And going into day two, I was like, I don't even think we can catch two overs to be honest. So then we went out day two and it kind of went that way. We had two slots earlier in the morning as we were overfishing. And at 12 o'clock, we still had no overs. So then we ended up running to the spot where I actually won the premiers, funny enough, because it's been so good to me. And my partner Josh whacked a 10-pound 28 incher, which is pretty awesome, kind of calmed the nerves. And then from there, we had like 3 hours to catch another slot and an over. And the time really started to fade. Like we were not getting anything. And then we kind of stumbled on a little pot of fish, and I was like, let's just wait this out instead of kind of running around. Because sometimes if you're on fish, you just need to stay on fish, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Don't keep running around. Just if you're on fish, you're probably going to get one to go soon enough. And then with, less than an hour to go in the day of fishing, I popped an 11-pounder, which kind of changed the day, obviously. And then this is, like, the 11-pounder was obviously key, but what won us the tournament was, as we were running in, we had a waypoint for slots that we stopped at, and we caught a 3.5-pound slot on the way in. And that upgraded us from 27 pounds to like 29.5.
Oh, okay.
And that was the day. Yeah. Do you want me to go into more detail or? Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think that's good. I like that obviously shows like that there's always some luck to fishing, right?
Yeah.
But, you got to be good to get lucky too. And so that kind of plays into like a 1 pound. And you said you won by, was it like 0.98?
9 ounces.
Like that?
Yeah, 9 ounces. But like, yeah, you don't stop at that one bank and catch a 3-pound slot. We not even close to winning the tournament, you know?
Yeah.
And just stuff has to go right like that. Like people that fish tournaments understand like so many guys are really good, but the stars have to align to win because you just have to have something work out that normally wouldn't work out, you know.
Oh, yeah, and I think I saw a picture from the research group of a burbot in a fish's mouth. Like that can make a difference if that burbot stays in the mouth or is puked up while you're fighting it, right? Like right there could
Yeah,
be a difference
and
maker.
speaking of that, that was the guys who got second place. Josh Casper from Regina. I'm actually friends with him. Shout out to him. That was his first tournament, and that was the 12 pounder in day two that won big fish. It
Oh
had that
wow.
bourbon in its mouth, and that was the
Yeah,
big
so
fish
that
today.
helped.
And yeah, yeah, and congratulations to him. That's amazing. First tournament ever to get second is incredible. Like I can't
Yeah.
believe that.
Talk about a daunting task, first tournament ever going into the vanity of all tournaments. Like
Yeah, and go crush it. Like good for him. Yeah,
yeah,
amazing.
no, that's I think that the vanity was my I mean, I'd fished buffalo once and then I think did I fish? I don't know if I fished I don't know if vanity was my next tournament or if I did beach and then vanity, but it's something like that. And I'm like, "God, what are we doing? Like this is insane. Like it's such a spectacle
Yeah,
to see if anyone's around there during the tournament. Like you don't even have to be in it, but go and watch the lineup for the launch and go check out the parking area. Like it's all just, it's crazy. It's madness there. And for all of it to still run that smoothly is impressive as well. But yeah, no, that's to stop there like that you said it was a 3.5 pound slot that you upgraded to.
yeah, yeah. Or three and a quarter, something over
Yeah.
3 pounds. It's like a 21 incher. But like, yeah, we
Yeah.
chucked back a 1 pounder. Like just huge.
Right. And that could have
Yeah,
been a 2.5 pounder instead that you
yeah,
upgraded to, right? And that would have made a difference too.
yeah.
So
Then you wouldn't have won. Yeah, yeah. Crazy, right? Little
yeah.
things like that.
And I guess
But
for people who aren't familiar with Tobin too, they have a red zone. Was
yes,
that a big problem when you were having a bit of troubles there, getting some bigger ones?
yeah. Day two it was because day two, like 10 minutes before I caught the 11 pounder, I caught a 9 pounder that was like 69.8, like right under the 70 line, but it couldn't touch 70. And so you have to throw it back, but it's like, are you kidding me? Like it's a 9 pounder and it's so close, but it won't go.
Hmm.
So then
Yeah,
we threw it back and then we caught another one. But like you thought like if we lose the tournament, it's like, well, we were so close to winning, it's just this fish didn't go over the line, you know?
yeah.
But
And you don't want to take as like being in second. You don't want to risk taking a zero, right? They're not as
no,
strict
no,
with the
not at all.
penalties, right? It's not a
No, I think it is still DQ if they're under. Yeah, then
like a
it's a
total.
DQ. I'm pretty. I actually either way I just stay away from it. But I
Yes,
would say it's probably a DQ of the weight. It's probably a DQ of the weight. I would assume. Yeah.
yeah. Like I think you
Usually that's
take a
what they would do.
zero,
Yeah.
or is there maybe
For
a
that
zero
day.
for a
Yeah.
dead? Yeah. Okay.
No, dead fish is zero, and I think it'd be zero weight for that day if you brought in a red zone. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Which is
Which
zero weight for that day is ruins your tournament, right? So
yes, and I mean it could be a lot worse, right? You're technically, I guess, breaking the law at that
yeah,
point, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it
yeah,
could be a lot worse rather than just getting a zero. So and though I
yeah,
mean that's lots of time when you do see a DQ, like I know how close some of those fish are, right? And it's whether you stretch in the
yeah,
live well or like you might have measured it and it was fine and maybe you caught it in the morning and by the time you go to weigh in at the end, right, things can change. But I mean it
yeah.
obviously just sucks to ever have that happen, and sometimes unlucky, and sometimes when you play with fire you get burned, right? So when you are
Yeah,
cutting it
no,
really
I
close.
know you guys have definitely touched on this in podcasts, but like I think about it a lot. I play it so safe always now because you don't want to get DQ'd or have anything go wrong. But like you're always like, how is the weighmaster gonna pick it up? Is he gonna pick it up by the tail or by the belly? Is he
Hmm.
gonna push it hard against the board? Is he gonna? You never know, right? It's a fish, but yeah, I think I always err on the side of caution because it's better to be safe than sorry. So.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and there
yeah, at the
was
Vanity, we were blessed. They were all safely under, and we had no issues. But they were all 21 and a quarters, and thank goodness they weren't 21 and three quarters. Right? That's a big
yeah.
difference maker.
Oh yeah,
And
and for people that don't know, that can happen easily over the course
yeah,
of the day, right? It can the length can change, and like and playing it safe too. I think the year I fished the Vanity, I don't know exactly. He was in the top five, and then I think he ended up taking a zero day two because of an over, and like I think he still ended up in the money, but
yeah,
not top five, which is where it was a big like thousands of dollars difference in payout because of unfortunate zero, right? So it's
yeah.
even if you weren't going to win, that change from third to I don't know what do they pay top 20,
Top 15.
top 15, yeah. So that change
Yeah,
from third to 12th, we'll say, is quite a change in
yeah,
monetary value, right? So yeah,
yeah,
no, that's a big thing there, and I guess the thing I was going to say after we were talking about the fall classic there, is when you said like, oh, 24 pounds isn't a good bag for Last Mountain or whatever. I wanted to preface that with the mentality of things, right? Like when you're talking here, you're talking to win, right? Like lots of people, like say it's your first tournament, if you've never fished Last Mountain, like 24 is not a bad bag if you
No.
considering the circumstances, right? But your mentality is a bit different in the sense of what you're going for. And we talked about that before we recorded. I was like, my first term was like, I just want to get a full bag each day, right? Like 5 each day. Whereas you're going into things like, I want a place, or depending on how your pre-fish goes, like we could pull this off, right? So that mentality is a bit different.
And to add to that, like 24 pounds is a very good bag on basically every tournament. Really, it's awesome. It's just that this year the Last Mountain is like everybody's talked about online, social media. As you see guys in the water, like Last Mountain's been so good this year that like people like as Kickerfish was saying, Eric Labopa, he's like 30s were falling out of the sky, and like the pre-fish was so good. A lot of guys were saying it'd be 32 pounds a day to win, like 2 11-pounders in good slots. So then when you come in at 24 pounds, you're like, well, I'm going to be in like the 50s, but obviously we were not because the bite got tough. But like in the past weeks, the bite had been so good, people thought the weights were going to be like record weights, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for
But
sure.
yeah, no, 24 pounds is awesome. I don't want it. That sound, I wouldn't, I said it sounds bad saying that because I'd take 24 pounds any day, but
yeah.
yeah.
No, for anyone who doesn't know, I'd say Winston's pretty humble when it comes to lots of this. And there'd be a lot of guys that if they pulled off 3 tournaments in a year, you would never hear the end of it too. So there's kind of a difference in people there. And I guess with this, like as far as these 3 tournaments go, has anyone done that in a year before?
Like I definitely know, like my partner Josh, who won the Vandy with me this year, he won 3 trail tournaments last year. He won elbow, landing, and Rowans, but I don't know if anybody's won premiers and then Rowans and then Vanity. I'm not sure actually.
Okay.
It's tough because they don't have the results posted from the last like 30 years, right? Like there's no easy online website to check all the results, but I do know there's a lot of legends from back in the day and guys that still fish now that have won a lot of derbies. So I'm sure it's been done, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But,
and that's kind of like you could tell it was something special because of all the hype from all different people that I was seeing online. Like obviously this doesn't happen every year kind of thing, but yeah, like I'm sure like some of the names that we talked about before we were recording, like those guys they're always in the hunt no matter what. So I'm sure there's been some years where they've had ridiculous years as well. But yeah, that's as far as since I've been following tournaments, like I was a little bit different than you in the sense of, I got into fishing, really like fishing, but I hadn't really even looked at the tournament side of it. It was kind of still fitting in under the weekend warrior, I guess, definition of it all, right? Just kind of was going out whenever I could, but had never really looked at the competitive side. So I wasn't as familiar with the tournament scene probably until a year or two before starting the podcast and kind of getting into it and kind of figuring out some of that stuff. But yeah, that's from what I've seen, you see lots of the names, but yeah, to pull off three tourneys like that, it's got to be pretty crazy. So I guess kind of what's your summer been like? Like I know seen lots of media from you. I've seen some of the Pokies videos, but I'm thinking that was already happening kind of before all this went totally crazy, right? So
yeah, no, it's like people kind of don't notice till you start winning, right? But like the summer kind of been like any typical summer, right? You fish hard, you pre-fish hard. I had some okay tournaments, and then once you kind of started winning, it was pretty cool because then I got to go on the podcast, got to go on the radio, and that was a pretty fun part of the summer, of course. But then a lot of it doesn't change, right? Just still fishing hard, pre-fishing hard, and I try to be quiet and relax and humble, but it's nice. It is nice to come onto the podcast and talk. I won't complain.
Oh, for sure. No, and that's, I mean, when you like to talk fishing, it's nice to do it wherever, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, I love to talk fishing. Yeah.
But these aren't the first tournaments you've won.
No.
Was the very first one you won the Sask Landing?
Yeah. When I was 16, so 2 summers ago, 2023. It's kind of funny how it works. That year, nothing was going right. You know, I got like 95th at Regina Beach, then I got like 40th at Elbow, and I was like, wow, like tournament fishing is so hard. It's so humbling, and I just had no success that year. And then I went to the landing with my dad that summer, and I had like an okay pre-fish, but nothing crazy. And the first morning of the tournament, on a good old size 7 jig wrap, I caught an 11.5 pounder, like a 32 incher. And then from then on, it was kind of just destined to be to win that tournament. You know, when you get a bite like that out there, you kind of got to make it happen. And
Yeah.
we ended up winning that tournament, which is pretty amazing. And that was really awesome because that kind of kept me going. Because tournament fishing I had a couple tough years there. Kind of obviously learning how to tournament fish, starting out in a smaller boat, tournament fishing. It's like it's hard to have success. It doesn't come easy. So not really cashing checks first couple years to then win one was kind of kickstarted me, obviously.
Yeah. And we kind of wanted to mention too, like then the next year after that, you got humbled, right? Like it's
Just so tough. Yeah, like I couldn't do anything right last year. I got 1/5 place at elbow, but besides that, I never cashed a check and like fished just as hard as I ever did this year. Put my time in, pre-fished hard, used electronics, and just like it's fishing, right? Sometimes it's not meant to be, no matter what you do.
mm-hmm.
And then this year, even at the start of the year, I had a tougher year. And then it's funny, you get a little bit of momentum, something goes right, and then later in the year, it's just like you couldn't do anything wrong. You just got so blessed, you know.
Yeah.
But it's
for
fishing,
sure.
right? They have to bite, so it's really up to the fish at some point too, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That was at Duck Mountains this weekend. Like we are on them, and some of the most picky fish I've never had to work so hard for fish. And even like we were focusing on trout, but then going and just like fishing the smallies. We only caught one smallie, but more going for walleye, whatever. Like we on one of the lakes there, we're marking fish, and I'm like, these all look like tanks. Like they're all looking like 30 to, I don't know, I'd say 30 to 28s is what I was thinking. Lots of them were just blimps. And then we ended up catching a sucker, and we're like,
Yeah.
are these all
Yeah, I was gonna
suckers?
say that.
Well, but they're still, they're chasing, but just not committing. But the water's so clear at lots of these lakes, right? I definitely think that was playing into it. But then we come back literally half an hour later, troll for some trout, come back, and as soon as the moon started to come up, it was just like bang, 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 and they're all like mid-20s walleye, and I'm like, what
Nice.
changed here? That goes on for 15 minutes, back to nudging up to it, not taking it, back down. I'm like, we know they're walleye, like like what is going on here? But yeah, like you said, the fish got a bite, and that's kind of the biggest part of it. And then got to get lucky with what weight that fish is going to be too. And then go from there. And I think for people that haven't fished tournaments, like, and one thing I didn't realize is that the tournament's only part of it, right? Like there's so much that goes into it. Like my biggest thing was like, I guess not my biggest thing, but even just starting out with like, you've got the line, you're dunking the boat quick, right? Like it's not a leisurely, nothing about it is leisure at all, right? Like
No.
you're in a line of 100 guys to dunk your boat. You do it in like a minute, back in, back out, you're good to go. And then, running from the parking spot, which is who knows how far away, get in the boat. Okay, now we're going. And then you get your start going, you're ripping to your spot, and then it's like all of a sudden time crunch. And you're looking around, like, I don't know what it's like in different provinces. I think Saskatchewan's known for bumper boats in lots of their tournaments. Like things get close, right? So there's just so much more that goes into it, and it's fun, but it is like there's nothing leisure about tournament days, right? But I mean, when you want the competition, and it just adds a whole nother layer to it that I think people love once they do get into it, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like besides the competition, like for me, I absolutely love going to the rules meeting, pre-fishing, talking to guys in the water. There's so much fun social stuff because like you don't see these other guys on the lake or in town a lot of the time because guys are from all over the provinces. And like some of my best fishing buddies are now from Alberta, Manitoba, and you only get to see them at these tournaments, and it's just super fun hanging out, right?
Yeah.
So that's another part people don't see. It's just that fun you can have, right? It's not all about the fishing. I mean, you want to win, you want to do well, but it's an awesome time to kind of hang out and have some fun. Just have a good time socially, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I guess talking about kind of how things change this summer, is like anything stand out to you that's like, this is because of the tournaments? Like,
I think there's a lot more people who kind of look where I fish now, which I think is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame them, but sometimes I'll be out and there's a lot of boats that kind of come to an area that I don't think would ever actually fish there otherwise. But I think that's fine. Doesn't really bug me. But no,
That's
I
yet
think,
another boat.
and besides that, yeah, no, I don't know. Besides that, not really. You know what? Just any change that happened was just good, but nothing crazy. No, I mean, like obviously I didn't expect to win these tournaments, but I was definitely hopeful, and I was definitely not surprised. You know, you put the work in, you fish really hard like I said, I've fished tournaments now for 7 years. Like I always believed in myself to win, and I was mentally prepared, and like I could like visualize myself winning, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, I won, like how'd that happen? Like obviously it's a miracle and I'm lucky, but it definitely wasn't like it didn't, you could hope it could happen. And
Hmm.
the best thing I think it changed was it just, me and my brother became so close this summer. And I think it gave us an awesome thing to do together. That's something that changed this summer,
Yeah.
right? That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for
And
sure. And
I,
like you said, 7 years. Like it's not like it's out of the blue. Lots of people that
no,
don't know you'd be like, oh, this young kid's just winning all these tournaments, and it's like, well, you've been putting in the time. You've been fishing them longer than some of the older guys that would be out there now that maybe are just getting into it too, right? So it's not like it's
yeah.
people notice now, like you said before we were recording. People notice now, but they weren't noticing before when you're grinding it out too.
Yeah, no, I think maybe one big change is like, I think maybe now it obviously changes the future a bit. I think hopefully the goal now we've been talking about is like hopefully now next year I can go down to the States and try fish the NWT. So
Hmm.
hopefully that's kind of what we're looking at now. It kind of, with the winning and just growing up a bit now, I think that's something that we're looking forward to next year. So
Right.
yeah, pretty excited for that. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like you watch the tour level episodes, it's great production. That actually is done by Sam Moore, who's been on the pod before, and obviously for anyone who hasn't watched tour level, great documentary style. It's very visually pleasing too. Like it's not just a boring documentary about walleye fishing. It's a very well done following the tour down there. But you see some of the younger guys on there. And I mean, they're getting things rolling too, right? So it's like it's the age is kind of just a number for lots of this, right? You go out there and fish, and you never know what's going to happen. So that'd be pretty exciting. You did do one. You were an amateur in one this year, right?
Yes, I've been an amateur in two now. I did one last summer at Lake Sakakawea, a great experience, and I did another one this spring with a buddy from Moose Jaw, Emerson Hawkes. Him and I drove up there, and we did that one there in April in Lake Sharp. And actually, shameless plug, Tour Level Gold. I'm in episode 2 with Dusty Minky called Lady Luck, and I actually catch a couple fish on it. So go check it out, I guess, honestly. But yeah, Tour
Well,
Level Gold's awesome, and the fact that I'm in it makes it even better. So I like it. Yeah,
yeah. And so that was
and
the
they do a
tournament
great
this
job.
year.
Yeah, that was the one this year. Yeah, it's episode 2 on Lake Sharp called Lady Luck, and yeah, it's the one on Lake Sharp there for the NWT.
So you can choose to plead the fifth, but you were smacking them that day, were you not?
I caught some fish. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I had heard through the grapevine that it was a pretty good day for you. Was that were you dangling those little catfish?
Actually, so we actually like it's funny, yeah, they don't love the bait as much in America, I found, but like I was like, "Hey, can I pull out the minnows?" Because they always got live minnows there, and yeah, I tossed out the minnows and caught them. The catfish thing, that's more on lacrosse. That was the second term
Okay.
of the year. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
use catfish, but using the live minnows was such a cool experience. I wish we had those here.
Yeah.
We'd catch so many more fish if we had live minnows. I can't act. It would be unfair. I'd feel
Well,
bad.
and so kind of getting away from that a little bit. What's your idea on that? Like you watch these guys use artificials like crazy. Like you watch John, Dewey, like Max obviously likes his worms, but like
Yeah.
you watch these guys and the way they're able to find these fish with your artificials. I have been hearing some things at Last Mountain, some guys getting on some artificial bites this year, but bait's still king when it comes to lots of stuff out there. Like, what do you think the differences are between the lakes?
I feel like I throw artificials just as much as anybody, but like you said, there's a huge difference between the lakes. I think out there on all these American reservoirs in the Great Lakes, I just think the forage is really different. So like I think they're willing to bite a jig wrap more or plastic or casting baits. Whereas like up here, like in the summer months, I definitely will throw artificials sometimes. I sometimes throw them in tournaments, but like a lot of our bites are really pressured. We have boundary tournaments instead of like on the American tournaments, they're all wide open.
True.
We have boundaries. We have boundaries. We have pressured fish. There's not as many fish, and they're so big. Like our tournaments have probably some of the biggest fish in the world. Like we're weighing in 10, or biggest walleye in the world. Like we're weighing in 10 to 12 pound walleye at a lot of these tournaments. Like
Hmm.
those things aren't always gonna fall for a jig wrap or jig plastic. So I think that's a big reason bait's king. And then also just forage, right? I think crayfish are big in Saskatchewan. That's really what I believe. So that's why leeches just work so good.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
But
that's
yeah,
fair. And
I think it's a big forage thing. That's what I believe.
yeah, and I mean that's like like how good all those fishermen are that are on tour level, and you see some of the bags that come in, like some of those tournaments. I don't even know. Like it's insane, actually. Some of the how small some of the bags are, which you like never
Yeah.
see here, right? And that's just
Yeah.
that's not a slam on anyone, right? That's just how
No,
things
no.
are at some of them, right? So it's kind of insane. Like you wouldn't see any winning bags like that, I don't think, in any of the major SAS tournaments, right?
No, no, no. And
Yeah.
I also think now with live scope, like back in the day, you could fish more effective without bait. But now, even in the States, as you watch, like they're shifting to bait more too. Like a jig and a crawler, a jig and a leech, a jig and a minnow. Like everything with bait now is really becoming supreme because with live scope, you can throw any bait at them and you're going to get it on them. So it's like
Hmm.
bait does have the highest batting average, like most of the time, really.
Right. Yeah. I guess when there wasn't live scope and an artificial, you can work way quicker. You can fan cast it, whatever. You can cover an area, right? Like say you're covering some structure, you can do that a lot quicker than dragging a leech or pitching out a leech, right? So I guess that makes sense too. And I mean, I like to joke around when I'm trying to use plastics. I'm like, if I only want active fish, I only want ones that really want to eat. If they don't want to eat it, I don't want them, kind of thing. But it does come at a detriment of catching them
Yeah.
sometimes, right? So, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's
No,
that's
I
fair.
do find when the bite's good or like a warming trend like in the summer and spring, you can definitely whack them on
Yeah,
plastics, but it's like for every fish I caught in a plastic, I all those probably would have bit a leech, so like honestly,
yeah,
what's the point, right?
yeah,
But
exactly. You can, and that's like kind of that's kind of when you're like, hey, I want to catch them on what I want, right? Not
yeah,
just
yeah.
I know a worm or I know a leech is gonna work or a minnow, but I want to catch it on a jigger wrap, or I want to catch it on, I don't know, a mooch minnow, something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of by choice there. And I guess another thing with the States that's different. What's your idea on like in all our tournaments up here, you can call your fish. You can once it goes in the well, you can change it out, right? But some of those tournaments down there, you gotta decide if you're keeping that or not, right?
Yeah, that's a great point to make because like so many people had talked to me about it and they couldn't believe like, oh, so you weigh in 5 fish? And I'm like, yeah, we weigh in 5 fish in Saskatchewan. We would weigh in five in the States, but like the one tournament I did last summer, it's no call. So you weigh five and it's the five you keep. So
Mm-hmm.
if you catch a 4 pounder, do you keep it or do you throw it back and catch a six? So like, and then the one in the spring, it was keep eight, which you'd think, oh, that's easy. But like when there's so many fish that are the same size, do you keep a 110 or do you keep a 2 pounder, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's cool about the States because like out here, it's most weight wins, best fisherman. But down there, it's like the mental game is even way stronger. Like you look at Dewey Jelm or John Hoyer, like they're mentally so strong because it's like, how do you throw back a good fish to catch a great fish, right?
Yeah.
And it's a big
Confidence is a
confidence
big thing
thing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah, no, that makes a difference with your weights too, right? Like when you can be like, I can fish till the like right up till the end and try and upgrade, whereas them, they're like, I decided to keep these five and it's 2 o'clock and I'm done, or it's 1 o'clock and I can't do anything now, so I'm going in, right? Obviously that would lift up some weights as well. So that's kind of a
Yeah.
big thing there. That yeah, it's already difficult enough strategy wise without not
Yeah.
being able to call. Like I couldn't imagine being like, it'd be like I don't know if I'm going to catch it. Like some of the way some of those tournaments go, like I don't know if I'm going to get 5 fish today. Do I like kind of things can change so quick throughout the day? It's yeah, I put my mind in a
Yeah.
pretzel.
I think you need even more luck at those ones that they just come in the right order, right? Because yeah,
Yes.
like how do you like if you're on the mountain, do you keep a 7 pounder or do you wait for a 10 pounder? Like that'd be such a tough decision, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because you
Ugh,
don't know how that day is going to go, and you can try and
no.
pitch at big marks, but every fish shows up a little bit differently too, and you can try and avoid that. But I mean, obviously, I guess for people listening, you are allowed to release fish. It's not the first five that you catch, but once it's in your live well, it's not coming out till weigh in is the main
Yeah.
thing there. So that's one thing that's important with that. But no, that's good. I think we covered quite a bit there.
Yeah.
We're already time flew by. Already at
Yeah.
50 minutes. It's like we're at Fox's Point again here. I always tell buddies like whatever when you come up. It's like the first time I met him was at Fox's, and I said I had to stop at Twisted Sisters after to get ice cream because I ran out of water and my throat was raw from talking for 2 hours. It's like I had to get some ice
But
cream on the way home.
that place is awesome. But man, did we smash him that day? That was worth it.
Oh,
I don't even know how many fish we caught. That was crazy.
yeah. And I had my
Like,
buddy out with me that hasn't
yeah,
fished a ton,
yeah,
and he was just loving it. He was like, "This is
yeah,
insane." I'm like, "This is Last Mountain. Things can change quick, or you could come out tomorrow and it could be totally different." But so I said, "Enjoy it," because
yeah,
the bite was insane. But no, there's
yeah. They rarely load up like that so good on a point. Like that was stupid. I
yeah.
think I used all my bait. Like, I mean, that's a good problem, but yeah, it was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. We ran out of leeches. We went into the minnows, and then we went to plastics. Like it's
Yeah,
very rare that I actually go through a whole tub of minnows. They usually end up getting tossed because they've gone bad. But yeah, no, that was, and we do, like spot lock too. Like I don't know how often you
yeah,
spot lock, right? Like it's usually always on the fly. And yeah, we just spot lock there, just pitching around. I wasn't even scoping for some of it. I was like, I can pitch pretty well wherever, and I'm gonna find fish. So yeah, no, that's we
yeah.
got
That was
lucky to be on a
nuts.
good fishery there, and I guess that's maybe a good transition into some of the guiding rights that you guys picked up. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, so this winter, just out ice fishing, hanging out, and a good buddy of mine, Chad Morris, kind of approached our family midwinter and was like, "Hey, I'm selling the guide rights to Last Mountain Lake and the Chain Lakes, and I think you'd be a great fit for them." So like he told us before he kind of put it out there and like really good about it. And I've known Chad for a couple years. He's guides on the lakes, Last Mountain, but he also had the rights to the Chain Lakes. So our family decided to buy them. Three boys, we're all grown up, and we love fishing and we love being around Regina. I think I see myself staying here for a long time.
Hmm.
So this winter we bought the guide rights to four Capels. That'd be Echo, Pasqua, Mission, and Catepwa. So those four lakes, and the rivers that connect that to Last Mountain also. And then we have Last Mountain also, and that's the whole Last Mountain Lake. So it's pretty awesome. There's no boundaries to that. We can fish the river part and all five lakes. So it's pretty sweet.
Right. Yeah.
And and then the summer kind of escaped me, to be honest. Just fishing tournaments. Graduated from high school at the end of June, obviously, and then kind of worked at a summer camp. So we really never got the guide business going this summer. And then the summer worked out awesome. I have no complaints about that. But I think the game plan now with the future is we're gonna get the business kind of set up over the winter, and hopefully start guiding on Last Mountain, the Chain Lakes from May to October next summer, and hopefully start taking people out.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
that this summer definitely helps add to some of the pedigree for that, I guess. Then,
yeah.
eh?
Yeah. I can maybe show you a couple things. Maybe not everything, but
Yeah.
I can point you in the right direction. Yeah, something I want to keep important with my guide business is not just catching big fish or lots of fish. It's like I want to learn because I think learning is the most important thing to fishing, right? If you're not
Oh
learning,
yeah.
like what's the point, right? Like learning is everything in fishing. So
Yeah, well, and
definitely promote
it is
that.
just going
Yeah,
to help you out. Like, obviously, you already know Last Mountain pretty good, but when you're out there guiding, just from the month long stints I did up north, the amount that you learn about a lake when you're out there every day or way more often than just your recreational or tournament fishing, right? You learn so much more about the lake, and so yeah, there's that'll pay dividends as well when it comes to tournament time, as far as knowing what you know. And there's going to be more people that follow you around because he's won tournaments and he guides out here. Oh, let's just follow him around.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and I'm excited for the Chain Lakes too because I think those lakes are pretty. I don't know. They're with Last Mountain and Tobin and Diefenbach are taking up all the news. Like those are hidden gems too. So I'm excited to
yep.
explore those and learn those lakes.
Oh,
They're
for
pretty
sure.
cool lakes. So
Well, and I guess that
yeah,
might be one good thing to explain. I think it's different in the States, and I don't know what it's like in other provinces, but in Saskatchewan, there's only so many guiding rights for bodies of water, right?
yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah. So Last Mountain Lake only has seven rights that are on the lake, and that's grandfathered. So like there'll never be any more given out. So There's seven people who own the rights, and those seven people can guide on the mountain. And like it's nice because some rights have like a part of the lake, a section of the lake. Ours is inclusive to the whole lake, so that's really nice. And then we're also the only people to have the Last Mountain and the Chain Lakes. So it's pretty
Oh, okay.
sweet picking up that deal because we're the only people that have rights to all five of those lakes
Oh, okay.
together. So that's pretty nice. And yeah, like you said, they're not just handed out to anybody. There's only a select few of those rights. So if they come up for sale, it's kind of nice to get them
Right,
because you don't know if there'll ever be another set for sale in the next couple of years.
right. So do you have a name yet?
I think we'll just probably call it Prairie Boy Fishing Guide Service or something.
There you
Everybody
go.
just knows me as Prairie Boy Fishing, so that's kind of my Instagram handle and YouTube. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
probably
that's
just keep it as that. Why change something that's been good, right? So
right. Especially something that's
yeah,
established. You've already got the page for it and everything like that too. And yeah,
yeah,
no, that works out. And I like keeping it the prairie way. Like you said, I don't see myself ever moving from Moose Jaw. I like being from around here, staying around here too. And so I don't blame you for wanting to stick around. And with the fisheries we have around here, it's pretty hard or I guess it's pretty easy to stay, right?
Oh yeah, Saskatchewan's the best. We have the best people, the best fishing. We don't have the best weather, but that's an okay sacrifice, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
pretty awesome to live here. Yeah, no, I love it. So
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
I'm
Well, yeah,
excited to guide.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it'll work well. The way you can talk and everything too, that helps with guiding, especially if the fishing's a little slower. If you can talk your way through it, that helps. But yeah, no, that'll be good. And definitely once you get things going, we'll help you spread the word on that because will be pretty sweet. I didn't know there was 7. I thought there was only 2 kind of different rights or groups that guided on Last Mountain. So that's interesting to
Yeah.
know that there's actually 7 out there. But that'll be good. Do you think in the future, do you see yourself like ending up with like shack rentals, stuff like that?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a thing of the future, right? It's not just easy to go and buy a bunch of shacks, right? And obviously,
Yeah.
I'm pretty busy in the winter playing. I'm playing junior B right now, going to U of R, so pretty busy with that part of my life. So I don't think the here and now allows me to maybe guide a bunch in the winter, but I definitely see it as
Hmm.
a future thing to maybe guide people. Obviously, just run around the lake ice fishing, and then obviously the shacks become super popular. So it'd be cool to do a bit of both, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, for
yeah, I
sure.
look towards that. But yeah, I think open water is maybe more my game for now, at least. I'll say that.
Right. So are you going to school for
Yeah.
business then?
Yeah, I'm taking business at
Oh,
the U of R,
perfect.
so I haven't
Yeah.
been there much though. I'm part-time student, full-time fisher.
Yeah. I was going to say, how did that work out as far as
Yeah.
pre-fish and stuff? You just miss a week of classes or?
Yeah, I missed 2 weeks of classes now to the 5, so now I gotta get serious about school. But it was worth it. I got no
Oh
complaints,
yeah.
so it was good.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
for sure. You can.
yeah,
No, that's definitely worth it. Yeah, my very first was it my very first year uni? Maybe it was when I went back up to U of S. My first week, I emailed the prof saying I had a business trip, but it was a fly and fishing trip up north. So yeah, so I missed the first week, so I kind of know how you're feeling. But when you're in business school and you say it was for a business trip, well, they like that, right? So it works out
yeah,
pretty well. So you could say the same thing, and then they're pretty good about letting you know what you missed and whatever. So
yeah. No, I think my teachers would be okay knowing what I missed. I think they'd be good with it. So,
yeah, no, for
and I'm a
sure.
first year, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, no, it's been
Yeah,
good.
true. Yeah, you can
Been
have fun
lucky.
the
Yeah,
first year.
yeah. Well, not too much though. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, you
gotta
gotta
quit
stay away
fishing
from the
now for a
owl.
bit. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good. Well, I've had you for basically an hour here. Really appreciate you taking time out. I'm sure you've had some more requests since the Vanity and everything like that going down. Obviously, that's a big, well-known tournament. But again, huge congrats, insane year. People, I think, are definitely going to enjoy kind of hearing the person behind what they're seeing in those leaderboards. And I guess they can. You have quite a few videos up with the
Yeah.
pokies,
Yeah, I
right?
could talk about that. Yeah, so I'd like to say 2 more things before we wrap this up. First of all, yeah, I have videos on my own YouTube channel, kind of from like back in the day, but like I guess you could kind of see the roots of it on Prairie Boy Fishing YouTube. And then I also have an Instagram called Prairie Boy Fishing. So if you want to check that out, that's kind of me. And then I have I think 5 or 6 videos now on the Pokies YouTube channel, which are from
Right.
this year on Last Mountain. So that you can learn a lot from those. They're really cool videos and they show a lot of good products. And then I just want to touch on one more thing before we finish up. I just want to
Yep.
say a huge thank you to all the volunteers and all the people that put on these tournaments. We talked about the premiers, the Vanity, Rowans. There's so many other tournaments I do near Estevan, Regina Beach, obviously Elbow. Like without all these volunteers and people that put on these tournaments, we wouldn't be able to do this. And like obviously saying thank you to them is really important to me. I'm just so grateful that they put these tournaments on. It's a dream come true and a blessing because who knows how long we'll have these tournaments for, and I'm just still blessed to do them. So just thank you to all the volunteers and the people around those tournaments. I
Oh,
just wanted to
for
get
sure.
that out of the way.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no, for sure. I mean, I've seen it firsthand as well, being at some of those. And the nice thing is with the tournaments, lots of it does go towards community initiatives, stuff like that. I think with the Fall Walleye Classic, is it? What's the town?
Strasbourg. Yeah,
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 Strasbourg.
Strasbourg. Yeah,
So
yeah,
that one, I think the Kinsman Club is the one that puts on the Regina Beach. They all kind of have some of the entry that goes towards stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's always
yeah,
nice to give back that way too, because you are using the community. I know it brings like everyone coming to fish those for a week, right? It's big economic help to the communities as well. So it takes a lot of people to run these. It takes the people fishing them. It takes the people volunteering to help, the people working the weigh scales, all that stuff. So it was good
Yeah.
to mention that, because
Yeah.
that is a
Thank
huge
you.
part.
Yeah. And then I just have one more. I just want to say thank you to all like the people who fish the tournaments, all my friends and buddies, and then like my family. Without my family supporting this passion and like allowing me to fish, my brothers, my parents, my grandparents, the family that is behind me and that supports it, and like my mom and dad especially, like helping me, like obviously letting me use their boat and supporting us going to these tournaments and sleeping in the tent and fishing. Like without them, this wouldn't be possible. So yeah, just huge thanks to my family and friends and the community behind me and around me. Like just so blessed to be able to do this, and yeah, just a huge thanks to them. I'm very thankful.
Oh, for sure. Well, I think that's a good way to end it off. Everyone knows where to find you. I'm sure they'll be seeing more from you. We'll be sharing stuff as soon as you really get the guiding stuff ramping up there. Looking forward to seeing that. I'll be out there. Be kind of sweet if you could get your hands on that plane that's down at Regina Beach and have that as one of the shacks there.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah,
that would be sweet. Yeah, I know those guys. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be. I might have to give them some money and see. I don't know. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, that's
That
good.
would
Well,
sound
I'm sure this won't be the last time we have you on. We'll definitely have to touch base as things go forward here in the future with what's going on. But really appreciate you taking some time out of your now busy school schedule, since you're back to that now.
Yeah.
We'll definitely probably see you out on the ice, see you out on the water sometime. But yeah, definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on.
Thank you so much, Logan. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for having me on. It was awesome. Thank you.
Another one in the books. Thank you very much for listening to episode 103 with Winston Stockdale. Definitely looking forward to seeing what goes on with the guiding. That should be something pretty sweet to see what the family decides to do with that, what route they take. I think it'd be sweet to have some shacks out there. Definitely a great person to learn from. I mean, you can't go wrong with heading out on the boat for a day with someone who is fish tournaments like that, knows the lake that well. But huge thanks to Winston for coming on. Definitely enjoyed that episode. I could have talked for a lot longer, so we'll definitely have to have him on in the future here. Lots to talk about when it comes to the walleye fishing, and just obviously you could tell from listening to it that Winston definitely, he loves fishing, everything about it, and that's what you love to see. So huge thanks again to you, Winston, for coming on. Looking forward already to recording our next episode in the future. But yeah, just want to give a big thanks to 13 Fishing, as always, for being the presenting sponsor of the show. You can head over to the Rapala Canada website, use the code Weekend Warriors, that's WKND Warriors, to save yourself 15% off the entire Rapala Canada family. That's all I got for this one. Short and sweet in the outro here as well. We're getting closer and closer to early ice here, so we'll see what we have in store for our next episodes, maybe something pertaining to that. But appreciate everyone tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Weekend Warriors Fishing Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to leave a review on your favorite listening platform so we can reach more anglers just like you. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for media updates and behind-the-scenes content.